could take some stopping. Play gets underway in the next 10 or 15 minutes here. And tonight in the other semi-final, the Chinese superstar Ding Junhui continues his quest for a fourth UK title against Judd Trump. Trump's already won 3 tournaments this campaign and has impressed really well so far here. 6 is the target for a place in the final.
You have a starring role in the Ronnie film, don't you?
My voice is on it, and fortunately you get your money back if you see me more than once.
No, you're in there 2 or 3 times. Within snooker, has it surprised people?
I think those scenes in the Crucible, when you see what he's going through, when he's speaking to Professor Steve Peters, the leading sports psychiatrist, I mean, to see that pressure, I mean, I think it's the equivalent of seeing, you know, Roger Federer trying to win Wimbledon for a record time, or Tiger Woods at the Open trying to win. You don't get that access for somebody who's at the top of the game, who's their great, you know, the greatest player in their sport and transcends their sport in many ways. And to see what he goes through, I think was incredible, those scenes. And the fact at one point, you know, he's having a panic attack, which you don't see very often, as he says in the film. It's only happened to me a couple of times, getting stage fright at the Crucible. But I think also as well, just with the, you know, Ronnie O'Sullivan's story, which is compelling, you know, what he's done in the game, you know, highs and lows off the table. You see the whole story. I think in the past we've had bits of that story, but obviously now we get the full picture.
It is absolute torture, isn't it, towards the end of that final? I mean, I can't recommend it highly enough as a film, but the last sort of 2 or 3 intervals he has as he lets his lead slip is torture.
Well, it's pressure. I mean, he talks about mustard being smothered in the mustard and the heat and having to deal with it, and you just don't see that very often, do you? And it's incredible as well, the fact that we're filming when he's trying to win a record equaling 7th title, and obviously that sort of spurred him on a little bit as well. You know, we knew they were going to get great access to him, because he said to them, you can film whatever you want, and I don't think at any point he said to them, don't film this. So you saw it there, and it was interesting because I chatted to him about an hour before the premiere the other week in London, and I said to him, what did you think when you saw it back with your family? And he said, well, if I felt as bad as I looked there, I wouldn't be able to do it. But despite all that, he loves it, and that's the thing with Ronnie O'Sullivan. He'll talk about love to believe in things like the Mark Bonner and Cambridge United story. It's been brilliant. He came having had no managerial experience elsewhere. He had literally just worked his way up within the club and worked his way up through the youth system, and then led them to a fantastic promotion from League 2, stayed up in League 1 and had a great cup run, beating Newcastle at St James's Park. Survived again last season, having been allowed to stay on during a tough spell and given a new contract in September. So a little surprising. I think regardless of the last 2 months, his body of work is as impressive as any over the last few years in the EFL. So I'm really excited to see if he can do it somewhere else soon.
Another chance at the Hawthorns, Charlie Slater.
Another chance for Leicester as well.
Let's see some of the new managers that have been appointed then. Ali Bristol Rose have a new manager in League 1, League 2 sides Grim.
Building a promotion team in Exeter, albeit in the league below, and I think Taylor gets an attractive League 1 job with a squadding 11th place and a strong squad as well. So that sort of fits my eye, I guess, and similar for David Artell at Grimsby. I mean, waited a lot longer. Right, and people, you know, it's not specific to Dave Artell and crew, but people love to focus on the last 3 months of a managerial regime and use it to bash a manager, but I think it's more apt to look at the successes and to look at the body of work more generally, and the job he did at crew was fantastic. As you mentioned, there were plenty of mitigating circumstances for their decline. So yeah, really strong first performance away at MK. Positive signs there. And Jed Brannan at Morecambe, I mean, he joined the club as first team coach a couple of months ago. Derek Adams has left them again, this time for Ross County. In his first game as interim manager, he lost 6-0 to Wrexham, and then got the job full-time on Monday, and they lost at home to Newport in midweek. So, you know, it's been a really difficult few weeks for the club, but you have to feel for Brannan, having stepped in, he needs to get a win as soon as possible.
All right, thank you very much, Ali. Ali Maxwell from Not the Top 20 podcast. So it's FA Cup second round weekend, plenty of championship games as well. We'll keep you up to date with them all. From 3 o'clock when our base is the Emirates for Arsenal against Wolves. We've got Nottingham Forest Everton at 5:30, Newcastle Manchester United at 8 o'clock. We also have the draw for the men's Euros from around 5:15. We had John Murray on earlier, James McFadden, looking at the various pots. I mean, England, Scotland and Wales could all come out together. Do you like that?
No, because I think Scotland, I know they've been the last Euros, but waited a long time to go to Euros and to have to almost share that experience. I'd rather just go and focus on Scotland, to be honest. honest with you.
There's no
Are
Christmas
you
tree
looking at
this
that from a
time.
media point of view, or do you think
Christmas tree.
within the squad and in the game
There's no Christmas tree in the middle of the...
the squad?
No, I don't think it does. I think that Scotland, I know that lost the friendly in Finland, and I know it was a much celebrated draw for Scotland at the time, but there was many people tipping Scotland to get absolutely battered at Wembley. So I think a game, obviously, you would never turn down a game against England. And Scotland always seem to do well in the competitive games. But no, I just think for me personally, for that experience to go and watch Scotland and have the focus when Scotland are playing to be on Scotland and not against England, who are obviously going to be heavy favourites if that was to come about. So nothing other than purely to enjoy the build up and the games a bit more.
They're in a situation, Scotland, aren't they, Ellen? And to Ashley Williams about this from a Wales perspective as well, of where, right, so they've been at the Euros now, so you build up that tournament experience for a lot of these players, and that can only be a positive thing going into the next tournament.
Yeah, of course, and obviously they've been in really great form to obviously reach the Euros as well. So I'm really excited to. I don't want to face Scotland either. It needs to be separate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it'll be really exciting for both nations, and obviously if Wales look to reach the Euros as well, for them to be in a different group as well. But yeah, I think to gain that tournament experience, you just grow and you just get. It's really exciting for them, and I think for me, when I went to kind of one tournament, you gained experience, then you're in another one, you think, right, I can kind of reach on some things that I kind of learned in that tournament and bring it into the next one. And I think mainly pressure, not getting too worked up game by game, really embracing the moment.
Oh, where are you going? This way. Nina. Nina, come on this way. Yes. That's good, isn't it?
It wasn't heavy enough.